Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Jawn Street Hockey. I, of course, am the mayor of Jawn Street, joined by my buddy Kevin Curly McHugh. Kevin, how we doing, buddy?
Doing great. Excited to be back for another episode here. Hey guys, don't forget to go like us on Facebook or go follow us on Facebook at Jawn Street Hockey. Also on Twitter at Jawn Street ST Hockey. It's not listed there, but there is a link in the description for our YouTube page. We're really trying to start get that going more. So if you could go subscribe to our YouTube page at Jawn Street Hockey, that would be greatly appreciated.
Absolutely. And guys, while we're at it, don't forget if you got any kind of masonry, concrete kind of work needs done, go ahead and call the best in the business. And that, of course, is Frank the Animal Bialowis. Go ahead and call up our good buddy Frank Bialowis at www.bialowisconcrete. That's BIALOWAS concrete.com. Let them know that Old City sent you. Guys, it's time for everybody's favorite hockey segment, and that, of course, is Chopping It Up. This is where we break down the last couple of games here of Flyers hockey. And this segment of Chopping It Up is brought to you, of course, as always, by Body Check Wellness. You got some achy joints and you want to body check them. You want to lay the wood down on all your aches and pains. Go to www.bodycheck.wellness.com. Use the promo code OCS for 25% off all your CBD needs.
I like what you did there. Body check your inflammation. Is that what you said?
That's right. Let them know who's boss. Speaking of letting them know who's boss, the Flyers, once again, they play well against the Capitals. End up coming out 2-1 there. Great game from Cam Atkinson.
Yeah, actually, Claude Giroux scored 11 seconds into this one on a nice feed from Atkinson, actually, that you'll see right here.
Capitals have played only once since these teams met to start this homestand for the Flyers. That was a 4-1 loss to the Rangers. Here's Cam Atkinson getting to this puck, finds Giroux, and they score! 11 seconds is all it takes.
Yeah, that was actually the fastest a Philadelphia Flyer has scored into a game in like 30 years. I forget who did it, but I think they scored in like 8 seconds.
Wow. Yeah, no, it was a great play. For a second there, I thought you had a little nickname for our buddy Atkinson. I thought you were about to call him Action Atkinson.
I think you're more the nickname guy.
Nah, it could be. It's kind of weird though, right? Because the Flyers always seem to play the Capitals well, and it just doesn't make sense. But hey, we'll take all the bright spots we can this year, right? So, in a year when you're not really, you don't really have a chance to make the playoffs, you can at least take a little bit of solace in a victory over a division rival.
Yeah, and the Capitals have been struggling lately too. They find themselves they hold the second wild card spot right now, and I think Columbus is creeping up on them a little bit, so they're not playing the best hockey either. The Flyers came out and played actually pretty well and took it to the Capitals in the first period. Cam Atkinson also scored in the first period as the Capitals power play expired.
Atkinson and out of the box. Here's Brassard to Lawton, and then they get in and they score! Dirty but good is Atkinson.
That was a great play by Atkinson there, taking the not so great feed, using the skate blade to get it up to the blade of the stick and eventually bury it. So great play by Atkinson there.
Yeah, I think that was his 17th, 18th of the year. Giroux actually tied him at 17, and then immediately after in the first period, Atkinson regained the lead for the team lead with 18. So definitely one of the moves that has paid off. That's been one of the more positive things this year. And again, I thought the Flyers came out and they played the Capitals extremely strong in the first period. The second period, the Capitals really started picking their game up. They were able to capitalize on the power play, TJ Oshie in the classic bumper spot.
Battle after the hit of the other end of the ice. Certainly played into that. But it's the third power play for the Capitals. There's the shot, and Oshie makes them pay.
Oshie certainly did make them pay there. That's what he's great at, right? Just kind of taking those beautiful 1T passes right in the slot there and burying them. I mean, Oshie's always been a sniper, and no surprise there to see him go bar down in that situation.
Yeah, their power play has been struggling too. It's actually one of the worst in the league, but that's just classic Capitals right there. TJ Oshie sitting in that bumper spot is, that's vintage.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Um,
He's been playing on
Oshie
the
is
third
really,
line for them, I think.
in my opinion, dude, I honestly think that Oshie is one of the more underrated snipers that we've seen in the last 15 years of NHL hockey.
Well, he's certainly the best shootout performer there is. Like the Olympics, what was it, like 6 or 7 straight? He went back and forth. Like it doesn't get like that's like one of the more memorable moments in like U.S. hockey history right there.
Oh, for sure.
Well, after that, Hart really shut the door. He played a great game, including making a big save later on in that period with about 10 minutes left. Where did I have that?
And now McMike behind the net. Eller. They'll get it in front. Hart sprawled across, but they score. Or do they? Hart got it.
Saved it.
Hart made the save.
Carter Hart is doing his best Samsonov impression over there, robbing Snyder. They're coming across every ounce of energy to get across.
Absolute phenomenal
That's our
save.
boy.
I mean, at any time you can fake out JJ, that's always pretty good, right? I'm not thrilled with Hartnell's call on that though.
No,
Hart
Hartnell
doing
is a working.
his best Samsonov impression.
Hartnell is a work in progress if they're going to have him, be in that position.
Yeah, no, I think
rather than
I
on the
think he's good in the
post-game.
role that he's in right now. Kind of as like the fill-in guy, kind of similar to what Bill Clement was towards the end of his career.
I miss Bill Clement.
I think we all do, honestly.
Yeah.
And honestly, when the NHL came back to ESPN, I think there was a very large part of all of us that was hoping to see Gary Thorne and Bill Clement again. At the very least, at least Gary Thorne, because he's not calling hockey anymore. He's just doing the Orioles. So
Yeah, that would have been great, dude. It would have been so nostalgic and like, since Doc Emmerich retired, there's not really another like voice of hockey out there nationally. They have Butchergrass on ESPN, but he's okay. It's just not the same.
yeah, no, it's a good point by you there. I mean, I think something will come along. Somebody will come along and somebody will become the voice of hockey again. It's just a rough couple of years here since, obviously since the GOAT Doc Emmerich retired.
Yeah, I don't know what their plans are. Hockey itself, this is the problem with hockey. Like, they don't do a good job at expanding their game. Like, when they take a loss, like they take a loss. Like when they first lost the ESPN deal after the lockout in 06, and they were only able to get on the Outdoor Network, the Versus channel. I don't know. Moving on to the Flyers did play another game. They actually just played last night against the Edmonton Oilers, losing 3-0. They actually outshot Edmonton 39-32. They were getting Jack Cassian. I don't know his first name. I forget his first name.
Zach Cassian.
Zach Cassian played absolutely incredible. He actually just played. Actually put a parlay in a couple games ago. The Panthers were playing at home, and they'd only lost 5 games at home all year, and they had just lost 2 in a row. And Edmonton had just come off 2 in a row. And this dude made, I think, like 53 saves for a 4-3 win. I had the Panthers on the money line. But regardless, Draisaitl got the scoring started in that one on the power play. A snipe from the point right over Hartgolding.
Kicks it back, Nerds. Draisaitl, shot, score!
I mean, again, no surprise there. Draisaitl is one of the best players in the game today. Honestly, it's kind of unfair, right? You got him and Connor McDavid on the same fucking team. It's kind of crazy.
they showed a stat during the game that over the last 3 seasons, like combined, they have the best power play in the NHL. It's like 28%.
No, for sure. I have noticed it's kind of like streaky though. Like when it's working, it's really working, and when it's not, it's kind of like
The way you see them move the puck out there, and like you just envy it, and you're like, wow, dude, like why? The Flyers power play has never looked like that. At least not in like
no,
10 years.
and they're so quick and decisive with the puck. It's like that's everything that I want out of a hockey team. Make quick decisions with the puck. Make quick, smart decisions with the puck, I should say. And that's something that you see the Oilers do on the power play, and that's something that I'd really like to see the Flyers do moving forward. But yeah, at 3-0 loss, I'd like to say it was a little bit closer than that, but
It was.
in a
They were
season
really
like
putting
this,
it was 2-0, and they were really putting the pressure on in the third period. They were getting a lot of good chances. Zach Cassian just kind of stood on his head a little bit, but I said that I thought Edmonton would be the game that we would most likely win. I think when we talked on the last show, we talked about Washington, Edmonton, Minnesota. They pulled out the Washington game, and then I actually mentioned how their goaltending and defense was struggling, and that's why I thought that. And then, of course, they show me up and they come out and they get shut out, make me look bad.
yeah, right.
But no, and then
Yeah.
later on, they actually added another goal in a net front scramble that on the replay it looked like Evander Kane like pulled Hart's stick out of his hand with his stick.
Looking for separation in this game. Keith open. Bouchard steps in, shoots, save, rebound loose, and pokes home. Yamamoto jabs it in.
Yeah, just a net front scramble.
Dirty
There was a
goals.
lot- yeah, it was a lot of chaos. Like they said, Evander Kane on on the overhead replay looked like he had kind of hooked Carter's stick, Hart's stick, and kind of like hooked it out of his hands. They never ended up challenging it. It was close. I don't think at that point in the game.
Yeah, well, and it was such a pile up there too. Like, that's a challenge that I think you just have a hard time winning, right?
Yeah, and I think with that loss, I think the Devils won the other night, so I think they just jumped us in the standings over the last day or so. So
One step closer to a top 10 pick.
I mean, we're definitely going to get top 10. I think we could finish anywhere from like 7th to 3rd, honestly. And then, I mean, in any of that range there, you could win the lottery. Like, you don't know. Like, you could move up, you could move back a little bit, but we've gotten lucky before when we shouldn't have. If you want to count drafting Nolan Patrick lucky or not, we had the pick. We had the pick.
Getting the pick was lucky. Now, what we did with it, not so much.
In some other news, Kevin Hayes has been rumored to be returning soon. Really wanted to get your thoughts on this, and if you think him returning to play is a good idea at this point in the season.
I don't like it.
He just avoided surgery. They thought he was going to have to get a third surgery. I guess they got a second opinion or rediscussed it, and they decided that he didn't need it. They're saying he could return sometime this upcoming week. Thoughts?
Dude, honestly, I wish they would just shut him down for the whole season. Why risk re-aggravating this injury that's already been aggravated several times this year? Why not just shut the guy down for the year? You're not going to make the playoffs anyway. Odds are he's probably not going to be playing with who he's going to be playing with next year. So there's not even an argument to be made for chemistry's sake there. So to me, if he's a guy that is supposed to be a part of this core moving forward, which based on what Chuck Fletcher has said is very true, he's supposed to be a piece of this core moving forward. Like, why are you going to risk that?
I don't see the point. I agree with you. I agree with everything that you just said. I don't see the point. I don't want it to be I don't want it to come off as like negativity that we don't want him to come back and play because we don't see a point. But you're shutting Cooch down for the year. Ellis isn't coming back for the rest of the year. But you know what? Like, I guess we have to trust that the doctors know that he can play and he's capable of playing. And if that is the case, then yeah, I guess it's okay that he comes back and plays. It's just
It's just tough, especially with the kind of money that he's getting paid, and like Do you really want to lose him for most of this year and most of next year if he fucking re-aggravates this thing?
Well, no, because that would put that would put a huge dent in your hard retool plans. If for whatever reason you now had to go out and get two centers, a 2C and a
Exactly.
3C.
Exactly. So I think we're on the same page here.
Which obviously they should be looking for center depth anyway.
Oh, for sure. I've said it time and time again. The best teams are deep up the middle of the ice. So
Yeah. Also today, Isaac Ratcliffe was sent back down to the Phantoms. Max Willman will be taking his place. Yo had said something about Ratcliffe took I guess a bad penalty in the Capitals game, and he thinks that he's been playing tentatively ever since, and just has changed the way he's playing. And hey, man, whatever. These players aren't going to be up forever. Like, they're going to come up, they're going to come down. He's only 22, so.
Here's my thing.
And I've liked Max Willman when he's been in the lineup.
I do too. But here's my thing on Ratcliffe. In a season that doesn't matter, why send a guy down who you really want to get a good look at? And the other thing is, I've mentioned this before. Players that end up playing and gripping the stick a little bit too tight after they make a bad mistake. Well, when you send them down, that's only going to fucking compound the issue. Like, let them play out of it. Like, it's so much harder for a player to play their game when they're worried about whether they're going to stay up or not. If you tell him after he makes that penalty, after he has that horrible penalty, after he has any kind of a terrible mistake, pull the kid aside. Hey, Isaac, look, you're going to be here for the rest of the year. You're here with the big club for the rest of the season. Go out there and play your game. You're going to make mistakes, but you're going to learn from them, and we're going to grow, and you're going to be a better player for it. It's not like we're in a fucking playoff hunt. We're not in a playoff chase. We're not in a playoff race. Like, why?
What you're saying does make sense. I mean, where they might be from like an organizational standpoint is, some of these guys like Ratcliffe, like someone else that we'll get to, in just a minute, they might not necessarily think or like want them in the NHL, but they've been here rather from necessity rather than preference. They might just think that if there weren't so many injuries, Ratcliffe wouldn't be here, and if you're planning on doing a hard retool and being competitive next year, Ratcliffe probably isn't going to be a part of that either. So I don't think they hesitate to send these guys down, and that'll segue us into the next guy that we're going to talk about, and that's Morgan Frost.
Right. Well, and that's another guy in a relatively similar situation. Obviously, the expectations are a little bit higher there with Morgan Frost, but again, these guys, what's the point in sending them down? Why not get them reps at the highest league in the world?
Well, I think Morgan Frost, on the other hand, I think he has had some reps. I think he's also just a guy that they think he can benefit more from having his game develop in the AHL right now. This year in the games he's played in the AHL, he's played about 20 games. He has 18 points. He's about a point per game player. Obviously, you don't expect him to come into the NHL and be a point per game player or anything. I think the last time I looked, he had, 2 goals and 5 assists in 30 games. It's definitely not good. It's not, his play has just been very blah, very just mundane, if you would. Yeah. So I don't necessarily have a problem with him being sent down. I mean, you're definitely not wrong about that. That's for sure.
Well, and that's kind of my point, right? The whole team is playing like that, so why not send the whole fucking team down?
Well, Joel Farabee is now back, and so is Derek Brassard. So when those guys are back and ready to play, they're going to come into the lineup, and that is going to force some people out. And they don't want to play Morgan on the fourth line. So they're going to use Pat Brown over him and McEwen and, either Ratcliffe or Willman, who has just been called up.
No, it makes
And
sense. I just want to see these guys continue to get reps. That's all.
if there's one thing I'll say, like, they should at least really give him a shot to be productive. You know, we know what Scott Lawton is. We love Scott Lawton. You can put Scott Lawton on the third line, and Scott Lawton will continue to do Scott Lawton things. Play Morgan Frost on the second line with some scoring wingers. I mean, if you want
Right.
to
Put
call
them in a
Konechny,
situation to
right? Yeah.
succeed.
If you want to call Konechny a scoring winger right now with eight goals in 50 games, but you get my point.
Right. Pair him with some more skilled players and see what he does.
And when you trade Giroux, who is currently playing center, and you don't have Couturier playing for the rest of the year, and then Kevin Hayes is alternating as your 1C if he does come back and play. Because if Kevin Hayes doesn't come back and play, this team might not win another game. They're not going to have any centers. There'll
What do
be
you
no
mean? We got
Coots.
Derek Brassard.
He could easily get traded at the deadline, and then what do we do? Unless we get back a player who is a center in the trade and a prospect that may be a center who can also come right in and play. But I think that's part of the reason why they probably want Kevin Hayes to come back and play, and he will play if he can and won't sit out regardless of the season, because when you trade Giroux, you're not going to have any centers. So that does make sense, if you think about Hayes coming back that way.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's just I don't know. It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough
Moving
sledding the
right
rest of the year here.
moving right along to wrap up this past week in Flyers hockey, we have Star on Jawn Street.
This segment of Star on Jawn Street is, of course, brought to you by Iceworks Complex in Aston, PA. Hey, you might not have a chance to be the star on Jawn Street, but you know what? You can be the star at Iceworks. If you're looking for somewhere to play in a men's league, Iceworks is your place. They got men's leagues games going there all the time. Ladies, I'm sure there's plenty of women's games being played out there as well. Big fan of the women's hockey game here. So, always looking to grow the game. Check them out at www.iceworks.com. And don't forget to keep up with all of the happenings with Ice Wars. It's facebook.com/Ice Wars International, Twitter and Instagram at Ice is War, www.iwifights.com. It's a brand new prize fighting, hockey fighting sport. There's going to be an event at Iceworks, I believe, in May. So stay tuned for that. And stay tuned for Ice Wars coming to a city near you. So, Kev, who do you got for your star on Jawn Street?
I'm going to be... this one's probably going to throw you off a little bit. You're definitely not expecting me to say this guy.
So you're not taking a
But-
layup for a change?
No. Well, no. By no means am I taking a layup. I'm going to go with Travis Sanheim. And let me tell you why. Before you give me that look that you're giving me now, let me tell you why I'm going with Travis Sanheim. I'm going to give him some love because we've been hard on him in the past. Over the last 11 games, he's got 2 goals, 5 assists for 7 points and is a +3, averaging 22 minutes a night. Over his last 5 games, he has 4 points and is a +3. So
Okay.
he's been playing some pretty good hockey. Thought we'd show him some love. He, playing with Ristolainen, he's been one of the better Flyers over the last couple weeks, or better defensemen, I should say, over the last couple weeks. So,
All right.
Travis Scott is my star on Jawn Street.
All right. Well, for a change, I'm going to take the layup, and I'm going with Cam Atkinson. Great game against Washington. Very big part in that win. And we mentioned that earlier. He's been the one off-season acquisition that's really panned out. So my star on Jawn Street for this week is Cam Atkinson. Atkinson. All right, moving right along. We got the road ahead. And the road ahead. Go ahead. Road ahead, of course, is brought to you by Lou Garou Custom Clothing. Make sure you check out Lou Garou for all of your custom needs. I know the Admiral Jesse Bell has a Flyers Alley jersey getting shipped to him. Lou Garou is also handling all the jerseys for Ice Wars. Let Lou Garou handle all of your custom clothing needs as well. www.lougarou.com. That's LOOGAROO.com.
All right. Well, this week the Flyers have 2 more games this week. They play Minnesota and they play Chicago. Minnesota, a really good team. Someone who's been in the market for Claude Giroux. The one thing I think the Flyers will do is I think they'll play hard, and I think they'll put up. They won't go down easily. Even in the 3-0 loss to Edmonton, they
They played
they
hard.
got shut out 3-0, but they played hard. They had their chances. I think we'll see that style of hockey pretty much for the rest of the season. Obviously they're not going to win a lot of games, but I think the effort will be there.
Yeah. Yeah, you touched on the guys playing hard there, and I really think you're starting to see them wanting to play for Mike Yeo. So they can definitely expect some effort out of them. I think they definitely stand a shot at beating Chicago. That team's really just starting to implode over there. Minnesota again is a really good team. They kind of came out of nowhere. Not necessarily out of nowhere. I mean, they started to kind of make some strides last year, but nobody expected them to be this good this quick. And yeah, you mentioned that they're in the market for Claude Giroux, and I think there's a chance there, but I really think that the St. Louis rumors are starting to heat up, and I gotta think that there's a part of Giroux that wants to go back and play for Berube again.
Chuck Fletcher and Brent Flair's handprints are all over that Minnesota team. A lot of those guys, like Kaprizov, was drafted by Flair and Fletcher. Matt Dumba, Yodin Brody. So that's kind of a little bit of that Ed Wade effect. There's a lot of players over there who Chuck Fletcher and Brent Flair were responsible for bringing in. So it could be a good omen for the future. Maybe Chuck and Brett can do it, actually.
Absolutely, definitely something to look forward to. Anybody in particular that you're really going to be watching next week? Me personally, I think I'm going to be ISO Cam and Jerry Mayhew a little bit, looking for him to kind of heat back up.
I think he's continued to play strong. He works
Nah,
hard. He looks
more or less like on the score sheet.
Yeah, listen, he's got I think 6 goals in 19 games, so he's been scoring at a decent clip. I think he could pot a couple this week easily. Like he has just a good of a chance to score on our team as anybody, as far as I'm concerned.
For sure. Well, and he's got a knack around the net
some of the
too, which I
opportunities
really
that he's
like.
getting. Yeah, he's not
just
afraid to
a
go to the
high-motor
net.
player.
He's not afraid to go to the net and stop at the net. He doesn't just breeze through. So he's been one
he's a
of the
high-motor
few
guy.
bright spots.
Absolutely. Yeah, so I'm going to be ISO Cam and Mayhew a little bit this week. Anybody you're going to be ISO Camming?
If I had to think of one player that I was really going to pay attention to, honestly, it's not like, I'm not going to give you something like, oh, Mayhew. Or for me, it's just continuing to watch Carter Hart and just continue to watch how he finishes out the year. I thought on Dusty Buttes on Monday, when I did my segment on there about the Flyers, one of the questions posed was who has had the most positive impact on, he asked it to everyone on the panel from all the different shows that you guys should definitely go check out. You can find them all on Old City Sports Network. Who has impacted your team the most positively this season? And I said Carter Hart. I mean, we know Jesse loves Zach McEwen. Jesse made a face and played like the toilet bowl flushing when I said Carter Hart. And Zach McEwen has certainly impacted the team in a positive way. Go out there, he plays hard every night. He fought Tom Wilson. You love to see those things, and I love to have players like that playing in the role that McEwen has. But for me, it was more about like who am I the most positive about this season. And for me, Carter Hart bouncing back during a hard year where the team is worse than last year was something that was just is really sticking out to me
Right,
and
and he
does give me
continues to
hope.
battle through. I mean, I can see why he went that direction.
Again,
Yeah,
you
I'm
you
I'm
you may
definitely
call that
interested to
a
see how he continues.
you may call that a layup answer, but I don't know. I think it makes sense. I think it's a good
No, you know
case.
what? I think your answer was a little bit outside the box. I actually I respect that answer from you.
Hoorah!
Yes, sir. All right, time for our final thoughts. Kev, what do
Uh,
you got?
Non-Flyers, non-hockey related. I don't give financial advice, but the Sixers player prop overs since James Harden has joined the team are crushing, and they're on pace to crush again tonight. So if you're
Absolutely.
out there and you're thinking about throwing down a little cash on some player props, you're getting
Well,
bargains right now.
while we're touching on the Sixers a little bit, our good buddy Charlie Cannon checking in here on Facebook says he's got a hard on for Harden.
We got yeah, there we go.
There you go.
Hard
Shout out,
on
Chuck.
for Harden.
Yes, sir. By the way, guys, Final Thoughts is brought to you by iLily. To make sure you download the iLily app if you want to get your opinion out there. Go ahead and check them out. Available on the Google Play Store as well as the Apple App Store. That's iLily. Check them out. That's ILILLI. And then you can also check them out at ilily.ca on
Your
the
final
old
thoughts, Sean?
interwebs.
You got any
Uh,
final thoughts for us?
my final thoughts are hold on. Uh, it's almost over. Um, but no, seriously, I think it's really just going to be to continue to watch these young guys and really kind of start to see what we have, what the future is going to look like with some of these young guys, and kind of I'm going to harken back to something that you said a few weeks ago. Enjoy Claude Giroux while he's here, um, because as we all know, the clock's ticking, and it at this point it's any day now. So enjoy G while he's here.
Uh, One thing I'll add to that is I am thoroughly looking forward to the off season, and that's not in a facetious way because the Flyers stink. It's because I'm genuinely excited for the draft. Uh, and
It's going to be a
a
big
hard
off season.
yeah, and a hard retoil. A hard retool requires drastic moves, and that's always kind of exciting for better or for worse. So that I am looking forward to, and the trade deadline, obviously.
Absolutely. Um, yeah, no, like I said, just appreciate G while he's here. Continue to watch these young guys grow and continue to listen to Weekdays on Jawn Street as well as Flyers Alley and all the other wonderful shows here on Old City Sports Network. Getting ready for Eagles season here, starting to roll into the hefty part of the offseason. Free agency just around the corner. Combine kicks off later this week. And if you need somewhere to go to get all of the latest and greatest Eagles opinions, make sure you check out our brand new Eagles show here on the Old City Sports Network, hosted by myself, along with Kyle Sharp and Jake Long, with my buddy Kevin here on the ones and twos. And that, of course, is the Sundays for the Birds pod. Sundays for the Birds. Check it out anywhere you get your podcast. Looking to come back at you live here again on Monday.
I'll also be doing the Dusty Buttes on next Monday at 8:30. We're gonna be trying to get that going more, and we're gonna try to stick to Mondays. We'll see how the scheduling works. We'll let everybody know, but yeah, that'll be at 8:30. So it'll be me, Jesse, Nick from Devil with the Deke, I believe, and then
Yep.
Ethan, who covers the Stars from the Halftimers podcast. So you guys should also go check them out. They're also with Old City Sports. Also, don't forget to go give Pike's Pub a follow on Facebook. Our great sponsors over there. Shawn, where is that located again? I always forget the name of the street that it's on.
Of course, Pike's Pub on 2nd Street Pike, right in Pike Plaza in Southampton, Pennsylvania. That, of course, is Pike's Pub, 2nd Street Pike, Pike Plaza, Southampton, Pennsylvania. Home of the coldest beers in Southampton and the ultimate place to grab a beer and a bite.
Don't forget to go check out Neshaminy Creek Brewery. Either they're in Croydon, Pennsylvania. They have a lot of great craft beers. My specific favorite is Jawn. Shocker. The
Official beer of
Hazelini is
Jawn
also
Street.
a really good one. Yeah, so great stuff over there. And then can't forget our sponsors over at NorseBeer.com. If you're like Shawn and you got that mane on your face and you want to keep it shining and smooth and glistening for your lady, don't forget to go over to NorseBeards.com. Use promo code OCS for 25% off all your needs. They got oils, balms, shampoos, everything that you need.
Absolutely. Funny, we got the babyface guy reading the beard oil ads. Gotta love it. Gotta love this podcast. Love all you guys for rocking with us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube Live. Don't forget to be a friend. Tell a friend where to get the best hockey content in Philadelphia and beyond here on Old City Sports Network. And last but certainly not least, thank you, everybody. Make sure you check out all our awesome sponsors. We're out.
Bye, everyone.